Hi guys, welcome to CountyLine Farming. Today I'm going to be showing you all the equipment that we use on the farm. We keep a majority of our equipment in what we call the big machine shed. 3 sheds that are not on this farm that we have equipment in. So right here, we just bought this last year. It's a John Deere 210C 4-wheel drive backhoe. It's an Extenda hoe. Purchased this, sold our 3-point backhoe. Next is our big horse, Case 4494, about 225 horsepower. Good rubber on her. Only put about 50 hours a year on this thing. Mainly it runs our Salford 26-foot disc. We've had this disc for about 9 years now. Really like it, just a little bit heavy. Really gives this tractor here a workout. But this is mainly used in the spring and then once in a while in the fall. And it also pulls our tile plow. Got our little generator here, and here we got our Soil Max Gold Digger Pro tile plow we put on the case. Haven't used it in the last year. We haven't put any tile in, but that's what we use that for. Moving on here, we have one of our 3 John Deere 5020s. This one is either 68 or 69 model, something like that. Our newest one's a 72, but this one we didn't use it all last year. Needs a new battery, and usually goes on the brush hog most of the year though, and that's basically the main job for it. It's what it's good for. Got some nice duals on the back. Pretty nice tractor. So right here is our John Deere 4240. This tractor has 10,400 hours. It just flipped over last year actually when we were hauling silage. I've had this on the farm for probably a good 10 years now. This is one of our main cab tractors. We have 5 of them now that we use a lot. This one plants all the corn. When we planted corn last year, we didn't plant all of it, and runs the fertilizer spreader and hauls a lot of silage throughout the summer. A little bit smaller than some of our other main tractors, but still does a really good job for us. And that's the only tractor we put our ag leader monitor in. Right here's the John Deere 4020. This is the only tractor we have left that Dad farmed with growing up when he was my age. 1972 model. Rake some hay with it. Last year we didn't rake hay with it as much, but rake hay with it on the auger. Pulled quite a few loads of silage with it actually. It can John Deere 4020 can pull a 19-foot silage box if you got the right guy on it. So we use that there. It's still got the old good tires on it. This John Deere 4020 used to have our loader that's on our John Deere 4620. Got a canopy on it. So here's our bagger tractor. You guys probably haven't seen this much, a little bit in the fall last year. We just purchased it last year out of Michigan. It's got a flat tire it's got a real slow leak on the front tire here. But other than that, we put some new lights in it, and the interior is a little bit rough, but it runs really good. Runs the bagger better than the 1066 did, turned up to 200 horse. So really impressed with this tractor. Put some fertilizer on it in the fall. So we have 3 4430s. This is like the 3rd one, since this is the 3rd one we bought, but it has about 8,000 hours on it, and it's original, so not a lot of hours. Just pulled a planter before we bought it. So all it's gonna do about 95% of the time is run the ag bagger. So this is our one of 2 John Deere 4620s. Our other one's actually in the shop getting worked on, so it will not be in this video. But the loader that's on it used to be on the John Deere 4020. So we pick up, we don't pick up any bales with it since we bought cab skid loaders last year. But we still do quite a bit of work with it. Ran the brush hog in the spring quite a bit. Hauls manure, first crop when we're busy. Usually gets on a manure spreader. So Still use it quite a bit. Pull some bale wagons with it when we had round bales here. Here's our John Deere 750 grain drill. You guys see me plant all the soybeans with it this spring, and we plant a lot of acres with it. And just put new tires on it this spring. But get a good look at it, because you might not be seeing it too much more. Just a little hint there. But yeah, it's 750 grain drill. Pretty popular. Pretty reliable, other than a few small things. This is our John Deere 3020. Hasn't got used for anything in the last 3 years, other than mowing around the pond and doing some road ditch mowing. We got a sickle bar mower, just kind of an antique tractor. This tractor is pretty low houred yet. This tractor is only a little over 5,000 original hours. We ran our smaller mixer before we got our blue one that we have now. So we got a lot of hours on the mixer, and we actually used to pull our Gale wagons, which we still have one. This used to pull a wagon, which was a load for it, especially in corn silage. So we don't use it a whole lot, but good little tractor getting around. It's fun to run once in a while. Then right over there is our John Deere 7000 6-row dry fertilizer finger pickup corn planter. We plant between 200 and 250 acres of corn usually. Last year we didn't plant all of our corn. We planted a little over half of it. And that's what the 4240 pulls that for probably the last 12 years now at least. So it's our corn plant rig. Nice and simple, nothing too big. Everything on corn is 6-row heads on the chopper and combine, 6-row planter. So it's all nice and even there. So right here is our John Deere 4520. 1972 model. We have every John Deere 20 series tractor. Yeah. And I think we got probably 8 or 9 John Deere tractors. We got 24 John Deere tractors right now in total. And this one is a 1972. We got quite a few that are 72. We also just bought this tractor last year, and hauled quite a bit of manure with it this year in the summertime. Had on the vertical beater. It's got about 130 horse or so, and it doesn't quite have enough horsepower for that. It really pushes it when it's on that, but put new front tires on it. I spent quite a bit of money on it last year on it, getting it up and running. Got it for a cheap price. Had to put a little bit of money into it. A little rough tractor, but for what it is, it's not bad. Just got to know what you're doing when you're shifting it. Ran some brush hog with it. And now we'll come over to we got 3 of these. They're H&S extra capacity HD 7+4 19-foot silage wagons. We bought these new about 5-6 years ago. And we run them and keep running them. Just have a couple incidents with unhooking and going into tractors or whatever, but that's about it. There's still some paint left on the inside there, so they're not completely wore out yet. They still got some good life in them. And we use these on a weekly basis throughout the summertime. Got a little bit of corn stuff on them yet, but we got 3 of those. Here we just have one ag bagger. This is our 10-foot ag bagger. It is a G6 170 ag bagger. These ag baggers are all 540 PTO. Silage comes into there and it gets packed in. All your controls for it are right here, other than the ones on the tractor. Gearbox in there. There's the model number. And they got cables to keep your tension tight. Still got a little bit of a bag left on here. Here's the back of our 26-foot Salford disc. It's got harrows and then one set of rolling basket. There's another one of them 19-foot silage wagons on the other side. We got 2 with an extension on the top, on the back for opening it up. We got one Gale 980 silage wagon. It's a 16-foot silage wagon. And we don't use it a whole lot, but we still got to have 4 wagons once in a while just to keep the chopper moving and keep things going. So we still got one of these. We'd like to upgrade it sometime, but we just haven't found that one wagon. And Silage wagons, the ones that we're looking for, are quite expensive, so I don't know, we'll keep running what we got. It works, we just need the manpower usually most days. Just a little bit smaller, you can't get quite as close to the bagger, so just a little more hassle when you're running it. So we got 3 harvesters on the farm. This one doesn't get used, we'll get to that. So here's our Coloss 820 chopper. We've had this for around 5 years now. Starting out the YouTube channel, we still blew into the silage wagons. Now all the roofs are off. But we have this is the smallest Coloss chopper of this series. It's a 1997. Right up there around that 5,000 hour mark, right up there. About the same hours as our John Deere 8820 here. We've had this combine for 17, 18 years now. And every year we don't do as much grain as we used to. We keep doing a little bit more chopping, it seems like, each year, because we got a little bit more cattle. So it's hard to justify buying a newer combine when, you know, we only cover a couple hundred acres a year versus we cover more acres with our chopper. But if we would buy a bigger chopper, chopper would probably be waiting unless we improve some other things. So this is the John Deere 4400 John Deere combine that Dad grew up with. This is a combine from home. It is like completely wore out. Need a lot of work to get it running, and it's very old, small head. We have no need to have 2 combines, so it's just a little antique, I guess, that's part of the farm history. Got some wood on the head. It's an older one, but other than that, that sums up our harvesters. We got quite a few videos with them. You guys can go check them out. There's a playlist for each one of them. Here's our third silage H&S silage wagon back here. They're all brand new, and they all came out of the assembly line, but right beside each other, so they're all identical other than a couple little parts we had to replace. So right here is our John Deere 4000 tractor. This is our main Raking tractor. And we have a John Deere 4030 on our mixer, which we'll be getting to that. And the 4000 is our backup mixer tractor. Our third one, for some reason, would have, if we really had to, we could take the canopy off the 4020, but prefer the 4030 over the 4000 on the mixer. Got it all set up for the mixer if we need it to, but rakes a few hundred acres of hay a year, so that's mainly what it does, and it runs the auger in the fall and in wheat. So that's what it's a good little tractor. Got a lot of hours on her, good and solid. We got our fertilizer spreader here. This year we didn't put our fertilizer on for the soybeans, but just because we were so behind. Usually we do that when we're planting beans. And then we put one of our neighboring farmers sometimes puts our fertilizer on. We side dress with urea when the corn's about knee high, instead of spraying it on, with some guys will do. So we use this to spread. We also spread on hay ground. So all of our fertilizer is typically dry. It's a NC 6000N, pretty common fertilizer spreader. I had it for about 7 years now. Come back here to the back, got some stuff we don't use very often. End of the year, we keep usually keep the combine in the back, since we only use it twice a year, get it out twice a year. So this is a tractor that Dad salvaged from the scrapyard right down the road. It's just a local guy. Had a backhoe and a front loader on it, actually. Really big on the little tractor, but just needed some rear end work. Use it to move machinery and back it in the smaller shed bank barn down the road that we keep stuff in. We have one grain cart on the farm. We don't use it every year, but every year we have corn up on the mountain. Now we use it, and last year we didn't use it. Well, we used it for beans, I guess, so we did use it last year. Technically 2 years ago now, since we're in 23. But this is our Kill Brothers 590 grain cart. Either goes on the 6030, 4630, or case 4494. Keep a lot of weight in front of it so you're not getting pushed around. So we have 2 Easy Trail 500 bushel wagons. We got a couple places right here at the corners we got to patch up this winter. Got a couple little holes. And bought these wagons new the same time we bought the augers, and we built the bin, which I think I was only about 1 or 2 at the time. Big wagons usually just run one on each tractor, very rarely have them hooked together. Once in a while right here, I believe it's a 69 John Deere 5020, but we did not use this at all last year. The year before we planted quite a bit of cover crops in it in the fall. It has a blade on the front, which is nice for if we got to move some dirt or something, so it's good for that. And again, just a little bit more wore out when you're shifting, but it's got good power though. Tires are a little bit bald on it. It's got a canopy, new seat, and the PTO, which is only 1,000 on these John Deere 5020s, it's actually bent on the back. Not sure how that got bent. It was like that when we bought it. One of a tractor we bought cheaper and did a little work to it. Not much at all, actually. And this is our John Deere 100 Baler, which many of you know had a fire. Looking at it, you couldn't tell, but if we open up the panel, you can see just some wiring harnesses, which we can't get. It's kind of one of them things, still trying to decide if what exactly we want to do with it. Chopper head, it's not a I forget what you call them. Have a rotary disc, but these work perfect for what we're going for. Nice and cheap, easy to work on. 6-row head, up and down the rows. We don't cut crossways very often at all. Folds up if you need to going down the road. Just manual, pick one each end up, but we don't usually have to worry about that. John Deere 6-row corn head. Actually, the duals stick out about 6 inches off each side. These 8820. Typically, we'll run with an 8-row, but around here, that way you don't have to take the head off. Very few guys have 8 or 12 rows around here. Average size is 6-row. PU 220. Hay pickup for the chopper. Looks like it's about 5 foot, 5-6 foot. Duals for the 4430. Haven't put on for a couple years, but now we're done. So we have room for about 90% of our equipment in the shed. There's some pieces of equipment it just doesn't exactly make sense to have a nice big machinery shed to put away. Like this chisel plow, we really didn't have time to use much. Only time we chisel plowed two fields with this, and they were just hay ground. We only went over 3 fields, which is only about 35 acres of hay ground this year. So we had it ready to go. We barely used it though this year. So this is our 13 shank chisel plow. Gives the case a big workout though. Had it on the 60/30 once, but you can't run it in the ground as far as we like to with that. Just a nice chisel plow. We also got a 9 shank. I'll show you that then. We have a van trailer in the back. We don't use the van trailer anymore. It's an older one that can't be used on the road. We just got some pallets and seed totes inside. We used to keep all of our seed in there, but now we just got some oats in there yet to use. But other than that, we don't use that anymore. So we have 2 Hutchison augers. This is our bigger one. It has a swing way on it. All it's done, and we bought it new. Only thing it's done in its life is fill this 7,800 bushel bin right there. Just has a swing way that comes down. Hook a tractor up to the front of it. We just put a piece of plastic on it in the winter time when we're not using it. Keep the water out of the inside. It's kind of a big old sucker, so we usually don't put it. We used to always put it away, but now we got a lot of more equipment than we used to. So we just leave it out here. It's all closed in basically, so it's not the end of the world. Just bought this bucket last year. It's gonna go on the backhoe. Brand new bucket, really thick steel, heavy duty, but it should work good because the one that we have now actually has a hole in the bucket and it's like super thin. So we'll go through our skid loader attachments now. This bucket gets used for about 70% of the manure that gets moved. It's a nice big bucket. Looks like a 6 foot, yeah, it's a 6 foot bucket. This one's just a little bit smaller, but has a little bit more depth to it, I think. Not by much, just a little bit. It's a little bit loose when we bought it. For some reason, it needs some work done up here just to make it a little tighter on the face plates. This is 2-prong barrel spear. We used to use this all the time. It's really good for round bales. Square bales get a little tipsy since it only has 2 spears. And the spears we bought with the New Holland when me and Dad bought it have a bigger on the back. But for 3x4s, it's ideal since the spears are longer and they usually are flat when we're running them. This is just here for when we ever do round bales. So we haven't used it for about 6 months now. But it's perfect for round bales. It's what we used to unload them all when we did all them round bales in a couple days. We have another bucket like this. It's all wore out. It's going to get to the scrap yard. This is another one that we still have. I was thinking about maybe doing something with it, but it's kind of shot to do anything with. But just one of them wore out buckets we still got. This is we don't use it anymore, but we used to use it for pen pack with the little LS-170s to help break up the straw pack. I still use it once in a while on some brush. And then we have 2 buckets for the 4620 and the loader. This is the bale spears for it and the bucket. Right now we have the skid loader adapter so we can put any of these other attachments on it. Handy little skid loader plate mover we just bought last year, about August. Move equipment around, you can switch that there and put a ball hitch in it. And we have pallet forks over here. Just manual to move this back and forth. Right now they're all the way over for something. But just simple pallet forks. It's our smaller bucket we bought with our John Deere 318G. Need to flip the cutting bar at the bottom there, but it's the same width as the smaller 3 skid loaders we got. The bigger 2, it sticks out just a little bit past the edge because it's got bigger tires. All I use this for, it does not go in the manure. I just use it to push up feed in the big barn, and I'll mix feed for the calves sometimes with it, and do a little bit of dirt work with it. Just a smaller bucket with a lower back. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's machinery tour, part 1. Next week we'll have part 2, and got a couple more things to go over. But other than that, hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope to see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.